My name is Hannah Sherwood. This is assignment 4 for CGT345, where we needed to create a amusement park ride that was like nothing ever seen before or would be deadly if implemented in real life. So this is my ride. It's a little crazy. If you notice, there are moments that it comes back together again, like right there, and then it flies apart again and then comes back together. Yeah. So here in the scene graph, I used an event tech to drive everything. I tried to implement a timeline, but I didn't totally understand what other nodes would work with the timeline, so the event tech just made the most sense to me. But I did use functions in the scene graph so that I would have something organized to come back to and try to mess with the couple times that I came back to this to try to make it something more. So here inside this first one is overall rotation and modified row rotation, and what it is everything. So the way when I was modeling my project, I used the base as like a group, kind of like a grouping mechanism, so that I could influence everything if I influence the base, and then depending on the other piece of geometry that's really important is this telescoping cylinder. So the base turns everything, and then I had all of these rows here having their own little bit of speed to them so that I could add some more variation in the motion. So then from there, if we go back to the event graph, I have up and down oscillation, which is this sine equation. It's two sine equations added together and multiplied so that I would get a lot of varying up and down motion, and I really only cast it to up and down motion for this. And I got this actually from a tutorial that was for floating rocks, but the up and down motion I feel would help with this project, and so I adjusted the period and amplitude from the values that were suggested so that I could get a more dramatic up and down motion. So from there is this next section, which is the bottom row XY motion, and all of these are essentially the same, so I'm only going to open up one. So there's 4 different sections, and so that last pane that we were in, the telescoping cylinder controlled all of that motion to give it the up and down motion, but made it so that the base and the base cylinder wouldn't move. So that's the only part that I programmed to move for there. So this was to give all of that crazy kind of wild flinging motion that the cubes had away from the original shape of the ride. And so it's the same sine equation again, except I disconnected some of the variables so that I could hand hard code them in to get the period and amplitude that I wanted. And then I had cube groups similar to this telescoping group that controlled a set number of cubes, and from that I was able to do the same the same motion, except in this case it's side-to-side motion. And and the other thing that I did is I also did add some rotation to these cube groups so that there would be some more variance in how they were moving, and all of them have different values coded in so that they would have some similar motion that could bring the overall look of the ride together, but not so much so that it would look kind of stale. I wanted the ride to look very flashy once I was done. Yeah, I think I succeeded in that.